But here today in the studio is Senor Bravo and his granddaughter Hope, because we've had a problem with police and attorneys that don't want to pay up for the damages they did. Sitting on my right is Hope Bravo. Welcome to the show, Hope.
Thank you.
We're doing this on Second Thought Show live. I'm taking my hat off for you people that tuned in. And you know it's on Second Thought because there's going to be a little logo in the lower corner. And on her right is Senor Bravo. Welcome to the show, Senor Bravo.
Thank you very much.
Welcome, Hope. I'm glad you're both here. Now, Hope is the granddaughter who was at the time of the incident we're talking about. You were 8 years old. Is that correct?
Correct. 8 years old.
And at that time, your uncle was already in prison and had gone to the hospital ward of a prison in California.
Yes.
Is that correct?
Correct.
Then the police come and they shoot your doors open. Is that right?
Yes.
And your grandfather has pictures in a book here showing the doors after they shot them. They didn't bang, they didn't knock, did they? They just shot the doors open.
They shot the doors.
This is not the way to do business. Now, according to the police, which included what, the Santa Maria Police,
Correct.
Santa Barbara Sheriff's Department,
Yes.
and a SWAT team, right? Heavy armor, ready to
Yes.
to do war.
Yes.
Yes.
And it's just, was anybody on the house besides you and Grandpa?
It was me, my grandpa, and my grandmother.
Okay, is that right, Senor?
Yes.
Okay, so what time of day was this? That's your grandfather. What time of day was this?
¿A qué horas pegaron?
Maybe at 4:40, 4:35, more or less.
In the morning?
The morning.
4:45
4:30 in the morning.
in the morning.
Yes.
Yes, 4 in the
What
morning.
what month?
April
So it was still dark.
April 26,
2007.
2006.
2000.
2006.
Yes.
2006. And the police storm in your house and you're sleeping in your bed, Senor?
I sleep in the sofa in my kitchen, sala.
He was asleep in the couch in the living room.
Is it in Spanish?
Estaba dormido en el sofá en la sala de mi casa.
Okay. Translate.
He was sleeping on the couch in the living room.
Okay. And where were you sleeping?
I was sleeping in my grandmother's room.
What's the first time you know something's wrong? You hear the gunshots at your front door?
Well, we heard them shout, "Police, police," a couple times. And then after that, they shot the door, and that was pretty
La de
much it.
atrás
They were
también,
in.
también.
Were you still in the bed or what happened?
Once we heard them screaming, "Police, police," me and my grandmother, we ran to the bathroom and hid in there.
Ask your grandfather, what did he do when he heard the police? Did he wake up at the shouting of the police or the shots?
¿Qué hiciste cuando oíste las policías?
Yo oí los balazos y ya cuando abrí los ojos ya estaban enfrente de mí con las rifles en mi cabeza.
Translate.
Once he heard the police, he opened his eyes and they were already in his face, pointing the gun,
Diciéndome que me levantara rápido.
telling him to get up, to stand up from where he's laying.
Wow.
Y no podía levantarme porque mi brazo.
And they had the guns in your face?
Yes.
Already?
Yes.
So you wake up and there's guns in your
Two,
face?
3 people with the guns in my face and tell me, get up fast, and I can't get up, and I push my arms, y se me lastimó el fierro otra vez.
Yeah, before they had shown up, he had his elbow. They had replaced it with a metal inside. And when they forced him to get up quickly, he couldn't get up quickly. He has to take time to get up. And when they forced him up, he hurt the metal in his arm.
Oh.
And he broke his arm,
Se me
basically.
movió otra vez el
The
fierro.
police broke his arm.
No, yo solo.
He broke it himself because they forced him up, because he wasn't getting up fast enough.
No podía.
He got up too fast that he hurt himself.
Puché las manos para levantarme.
Were these City of Santa Maria police in 2006, or were these the sheriff's deputies or SWAT team
They go
combination?
together.
It was
The
combination because half of them had masks on where you could only see their eyes and mouth, and on the back it said SWAT, and the others, they came in just regular police suits.
Iban unos tapados de la cara, dile, con máscaras.
Sí, ya la dije.
So That was in 2006. So when did he start to sue the police?
That same year.
That same year, 2006. And now it's 2015, in fact, almost the end of 2015, and you get a letter here from Robert Mann and Donald W. Cook and Cynthia Anthea Parker in Los Angeles. You're attorneys, correct?
Yes.
And I'm going to read you the letter. It says, the city of Santa Maria, it's addressed to Mr. and Mrs. Bravo and Esperanza. Who's Esperanza?
I'm Esperanza.
Oh, you're Esperanza.
Esperanza is hope in Spanish.
Oh, okay. I didn't know that. My ignorance, I'm sorry. Dear Mr. and Mrs. Bravo and Esperanza, the city of Santa Maria has made another offer. Enclosed is a copy of the September 28th, 2015 letter from Santa Maria attorneys. The offer is $750,000. However, it is still not enough money for the reasons I gave in my July 29th letter, because the city is still not offering enough money to pay attorney's fees and costs you owe. That is, if you accept this offer, you will receive nothing, because all the money will go to the attorneys to pay the fees and costs which have not been paid. We are owed over $1 million in attorney's fees and costs. You should reject the offer. Please put an X by your name below or initials, and then please return to us in the envelope provided. Thank you. And this was postmarked 29th of September. Signed, Donald W. Cook. So they're telling you, your grandpa, he owes $1 million, correct?
Correct, over $1 million.
Over $1 million. But if we accept the offer, if you guys accept the offer, you're going to get nothing, because it's all going to go to the attorney's fees and costs.
Correct.
Now, you were 5 days doing depositions or in court in Los Angeles?
We were in court from 8 in the morning to all the way to 3 in the afternoon. 5 days. 5 days in a row we were in the Los Angeles court.
En la deposición.
Translate?
Estábamos haciendo deposición.
Y en la corte y duramos 4 días en la Corte Federal de Los Ángeles.
Yeah, we were in the federal court in Los Angeles, and we were doing the 5 days of the deposition, he says. But we were in the court while the judge was speaking, and we went out to speak, and we all took turns, me, my grandfather, and my grandmother. We took turns going up to the stand talking about what had happened.
And did you tell them you were terrified by the police?
We sure did. We all told them we were.
And
They left me traumatized when I was younger, yes.
you were 8 years old when all this happened. Now
Yes, I was in 4th grade.
You were in 4th grade. Now you're 18. You're a senior in high school?
No, I'm graduated
Oh,
from
you
high school.
graduated
Yes.
now. Okay. But for a 4th grader, this must have been fairly traumatic.
It was a lot.
Did you see any traumatic things when your uncle was arrested and he went to prison? Did
No,
you see
I
any?
was never around when he would get arrested, because he would be not at the house. It would be outside. It would be out of town.
So you never saw any of that?
No.
So this was something completely new, and it left you traumatized. And did you have to see a doctor and psychologist?
Yes, me, my grandfather, we seen counselors for... ¿Cuántos años vimos los counselors?
No me acuerdo, pero...
We seen them for about 2 years each, me and my grandfather.
Uh-huh.
We seen a counselor, Mrs. Purdy, here in Santa Maria. And I went to her almost every other day after school to speak to her for an hour or two.
Did it help?
And so did my grandfather. Yes, it did.
También nos mandaron con otro doctor en Santa Bárbara.
And we also went to a therapist
Terapista.
So
in
does
Santa
this-
Barbara.
Does this seem fair to you that after almost 10 years, you should end up with nothing and the lawyers get all the money? Ask
No,
your grandfather.
¿crees que es bien que se queden con todo el dinero y nosotros no agarramos nada?
Pues yo creo que no, porque el dinero se están abasando al caso que nos pasó a nosotros para ellos agarrar todo el dinero. No creo que es correcto.
Yeah, he doesn't think it's right that they're getting all the money for fighting for us. Even though they fought for us, they're still getting everything.
Did you ever ask your grandfather, did he ever ask your attorneys, Cook, who signed this letter, to give him an itemized breakdown of all the charges that add up to over $1 million? Did he ever get an itemized breakdown?
Que si recibiste un papel que dice que los horas de ellos,
No nos lo han dado.
¿no?
En el caso de los sheriffes que arreglaron, sí nos dieron un papel, pero en este de la policía de Santa María no nos han dado nada.
So from the Santa Barbara case that we have fought, that we already had settled with, ¿qué iba a decir?
Que los policías de Santa María no nos han dado información cuántas horas han puesto.
So from the Santa Barbara case, we already got their hours that they spent on that case. But for this case, for the Santa Maria police, we have not got their hour sheet or their hour span that shows that adds up to the $1 million in hours.
Do you have two different lawsuits?
Yes, we have two different ones,
And one
but they're
is,
not different. One's against the Santa Maria police, so that's one in general, and then we have the Santa Barbara sheriffs.
okay. So did you settle with one of them?
Yes, we settled with the Santa Barbara, and they received $750,000 from the Santa Barbara, and they gave us $150,000 to split between me, my grandfather, and my grandmother. So that means we got 50-50, and my grandmother received 50. And so
And the attorneys got $700,000.
yes, correct. And
Now they want another $1 million.
they want another $1 million, correct. That is, it's just outrageous.
People, does anybody besides me think this is just outrageous greed? I mean, they're the victims. I think they should get at least half the money, and they settled. They didn't even have the expense of going to trial. I think this is just, I think this is utterly ridiculous. So it appears that in this particular case against the city of Santa Maria, either Santa Maria's got to fork up twice as much money for them to get a reasonable settlement. I mean, think about it. You wake up early in the morning, people screaming police, shooting your door open, and before you can wake up, there's guns facing you in your privacy of your bedroom, guns in your face. And yet the lawyers who didn't go through any of this trauma, they should get most of the money? Translate to your grandpa what I just said.
Que él está diciendo que no está bien que ellos, que nosotros fuimos entre toda esta trauma y ellos ganan todo el dinero.
Pues no, porque yo hasta fui al hospital, yo estaba para darme un ataque porque me agarraron de sorpresa. Yo no esperaba que fueran a ir a mi casa porque yo no tengo problemas.
Yeah, he says that he's very surprised that they even went to our house because my uncle was in jail already, so there was no reason for them. We were not even expecting anyone to come to our house, especially at that time. And he feels that that's not right, that they're receiving everything, even though we're the ones that went through everything.
I agree with your grandpa.
Y yo fui al hospital.
See,
He ended up going to the hospital after that, and after doing that, he had an infection in his arm, and after that, nurses had to be coming to the house to be cleaning the wound out for about 3 months. He had to be taking medicines and all of that. He had to go through everything, and for him to get so little, I don't think it's
to
fair
get
at all.
$50,000. No, it doesn't seem. What is his medical cost to get his infection out of his arm? What did that cost him?
¿Cuánto costó para?
Pues tanto que apenas pagué hace poco porque me endrogué con mucho dinero. Yo pagué de mi bolsa. Bastante dinero.
He paid a lot of money out of pocket, even though he received the $50,000. He ended up paying way more than $50,000 out of his pocket to fix his arm, for the medications he needed to take for the pain, and so on.
2 veces me operaron el brazo por causante de ese accidente y el día que cayeron ellos mismos me llamaron la ambulancia para que me fuera al hospital.
Yeah, when they came to our house that morning, he was so scared and afraid that they wanted to send him to the hospital. They wanted to call an ambulance for him because you could see he was very scared and his heart was racing really fast.
I think
They were worried
anybody's,
for him.
anybody
They're really
waking
worried
up to
for
police
him.
guns in your
My
face.
heart made me like this.
Yeah, I'm sure it was.
I was waiting for the police. Never I am in trouble.
You were never in trouble,
Never.
never
He's
arrested.
never
wife
been in
too.
trouble, never arrested, nothing. So he doesn't know why. He's very confused on why they went to our house and did that
And
to
they
us.
were looking for his son.
Yes.
Yes.
And they called the Santa Barbara jail and they told him he's not in custody. So why did they think he'd be there when they should have known he was in prison? I mean, see, he had a son who went to prison. Is he still in prison?
No, he's home.
He's home now. But he's in prison and they didn't check to see if he's in prison, which would take them maybe 5 seconds on a computer, and they would have found what prison he's in, what his cell block is, and they come kicking in his door. This isn't the America that I thought I lived in. We the people, whether you're Latino or gringo, we gotta come together. Can you translate what I said to him in Spanish?
Que somos diferentes gentes, pero necesitamos unar todos.
Claro, porque mira, ellos dijeron, los mismos policías dijeron que hablaron a Santa Bárbara y que no estaba en la prisión de Santa Bárbara, por eso fueron a mi casa y estaba en Huasco.
Yeah, they were calling to check where he was, and Huasco prison was calling around to see where he was, and he was in jail the whole time. And someone had a mistake, and they said he was not where he was supposed to be, and they went to our house
Y a mí,
right
me,
away at 4 in the morning.
a mí me decían que se había salido de la cárcel. Ellos mismos me dijeron.
Yeah, they had said, oh, we're looking for you. He was asking, what is the reason you guys are here at my house? And they replied, we are here because your son escaped from prison. And they were just looking through everything, not even caring.
But his son had not escaped from prison.
No, he was there. He was there in the prison. He was in, I don't know what you would call it, a
The
little
hospital room?
The-
Hospital room in the
Yes,
prison?
the hospital room or the nurse's room, because he is a diabetic, and who knows what happened to him. He needed his medicine, and he probably went, and there was just a miscommunication in there, and it was their mistake.
Yeah, it was their mistake, and he suffered an infection in his arm. And this young lady here, now about what, 18?
Yes, I'm 18.
She was 8 years old at that time. Imagine you're 8 years old being traumatized like this and having to pay for, a psychologist for years and years. And the lawyer's going to want to take virtually all the money. This reminds me of that guy up in Oregon. His lawyer took 100% illegally. He was supposed to get 50%, and he took everything, gave the victim nothing. This is just sheer greed. Would your grandfather like me to write my own letter to Mann and Cook and suggest they cut their fees in half?
Si quisieras que él escriba una letra a Roberto y Cintia diciéndole si ellos pueden cortar su 1,000 que lo debemos en medio, como si podemos nomás deber 500,000 en vez de 1,000, y como sabes, como están ofreciendo 750,000, si podemos, ellos se quedan con 500,000 y nosotros con 250.
Pero están pidiendo 1,000,000 ellos. O sea,
Ya
todavía
sé, pero él dice, si usted quiere, si él escriba una letra a ellos diciéndole si ellos pueden, por favor, amuchar sus cuestas en medio.
Pues claro, pues, y nos pertenece porque pues nosotros fuimos los que nos agredieron y ellos
Yes, he says he
nomás
doesn't
agarraron su
mind.
dinero.
He says that's fine if you were to go ahead and write a letter to them.
I'll do that. Would you like me to send them a copy of our show tonight?
¿Quieres que le manden una copia de esta?
Sí, yes.
Yeah, okay.
No, una copia de esta show.
This television show. Should I
Well.
send them a copy?
Well.
Translate.
¿Quieres?
You can.
Okay. Let
I
me
give
pull
the
your mic.
permit. I give the permit, you can.
Okay.
Because they don't make a good job for me, only for they.
Yeah. Let me suggest something, Senor. Translate.
Él quiere suggestir algo para usted.
Let me suggest that we ask Santa Marians to show up at City Hall next month, right before Christmas, and demand that the city talk to the city's attorneys and say, look, you need to offer at least $1 million because the city had dirty hands. They broke the law because the city had dirty hands. They broke the law.